Coming into Recon construction line center rotation positions, the Earth is in a new axle rotation line center. I don't know if you guys are aware of spam. You know that stuff that you eat. It's like cam. It's like ham. Well, the center line center to the Earth line conditions is underlining its position location, which means that we're taking all the negative line centers and putting a glowing recognition of a plasma line center rotation. So basically, it's all about understanding that the Earth is coming in its axle of a computer. It's rocketing line interference and channels that's setting up a new Earth core line condition, which puts everybody into the hologram of its realm society. It's a very powerful TikTok on communications about what's going on, trying to understand the axles in the Earth and what it is, the crust, and liquid and solid, how it's in formation line center positions. It's all about bringing humanity in the track system of the heart reactor. It's important you guys understand these things because it has to do with you in all ways and cycles. So think that the Earth is on a new axle line center to new computer line system rotation. In positioning, you have to make sure your computer is in the right timeline. It's very important to understand these things, you know. I was changing the waving cycles and location line systems and looking at my computer, and it was saying basically in position it was 10:08, but it's not, it's 9:08. So you got to make sure that you're in the right sequencing line interference of time frame position, because if not, you change the Earth line center rotation when you go to higher levels of activation core line system. It gets more complicated when you're connected to the Earth. The Earth is very powerful. You guys are coming into that formations. Your activation cycles and your communications is a hologram interference, and that's in position through you, through your pyramids and its activation core line center. So you understand that your chakras are now activated in 60 activation waves in communication line system. And also your pyramids are activated to the core line center of its streaming, of its position. So it's very important we get an understanding how to use all waving connections of ourselves, right? It helps us in all ways and forms. Questions or comments, you can go through my healing. I had a very busy weekend. It's good to have a weekend to yourself because I'm so busy 7 days a week. So today is, I have a party that's going on with my stepdaughter. And she's basically, we're going to have between 25, 30 people. You know, it's at the parquet. It's like 2-3 minutes away. It's all going to be set up. And that's going to be happening in the afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that. So, but it's good to understand that we need time to ourselves. It's time to reflect on what's going on through conditions. So your plasma line centers and your communication, your perception is opening up track system. So you guys are coming more into clarity of visions now. So it's all about operation of you through connection. So when you go to sleep, you're going to be basically more self-aware of what's happening with you. So we're coming into Recon, reconstruction line centers. I got the major good workers working on the new position line system. Now that's in connections of spam interference, okay, the spectrum lights, the planet interference, okay, and everything through the atomic level system to its metric system. Community line centered connections to the society, it's the round line system rotation, it's coming into a hologram. The city and everything through society is coming into its own economy. New social media, new network, global network line center, central grids, energy grids, power grid line center rotations. So we're coming into new axle of a new activation line center. Very powerful stuff. How the actual Earth is going to come into a plasma. Okay, it's going to come into translucent. It has to get into line center rotation to humanity. The clocking system of humanity has to change reactor line center interference. Now, reactor line interference is truly understand your heart positions of your alpha, mega, micro, and macro. What are you dealing with through connections? Are you using theta waves, your beta waves, your delta waves, or anything through connections at positions? Truly understand what you're doing, right? So it's a clocking system of you. Truly understand those bodies of water of 7, okay, is extremely important. It's mastering just the body of the ground line center. And when you go to higher levels, you go into the atmospheres of 5 clocking systems of time, the time zones and everything through the activation core line system, which puts you into higher levels of percentage, right? We have to get you guys into higher positions through your imagination. And the only way to do that is to change the axial interference of the Earth. So This is all done through construction. This is all done through positions. This is all done through ascended masters. Masters that would just make your head spin on so many levels of communication. Acceleration, speed, walking line center rotations, communications, metric grid line centers. When you guys go into higher levels of 60, because you're in that position right now, but once you fully get your grounds with your 60s and your water containment interference, and you understand all levels of structures, and you understand all levels of description of your chakras, this is extremely powerful for you because you come into higher positions to your ecosystem. You start living in the ego, no longer the ego, right? Because the ego is already in balance. So the more you come into position, there you understand more that you see is space, all levels of male and female aspects. So it's all about grounding yourself system first, getting into flux capacitors and interference, how you can go up and down and communicate with people because they're all at different levels. You got to find balance with yourself first, with the male and female and the aspects of your flux capacitor line centers. Then you can go back down. So it's like 7 days a week, you're going to rotation. That's all we do, right? But you guys are going up, 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 right? Your ethers, your compartments, your interline center, your spectrum light, your activation core line system rotations. You come into millennium status. You come more into space of civility, which is very powerful because now you come into more of the hologram, right? So the more you sleep, the more you come into visions. Your eyes, when you close your eyes, you actually see yourself on the other side and you're seeing all positions, pyramids, activation line center. There's a crop circle, UFOs coming on this side line center. So everything comes into frame position. I close my eyes so you get a basic understanding of what you're supposed to see. And it's all done through your thoughts. You control everything when you're on the other side of space. Don't let space control you. You control space. And that's just all done through time. Okay. So you have to know the axles of time of the Earth. You have to understand the rotations, circle line centers of the Earth. You have to understand all positions of you through the atom line center of Earth. Hola. Sí, el parque, yeah. Hold on. Speed up. 1 sec, guys. Okay. A lot of things going on today. Sorry about that, guys. Just they're going to be setting up the parquet, right? So there's going to be like 25, 30 people. So lots of good stuff. It's a good way to meet people. You have a party, and it's like I said. So for me going to the parquet, I have to line center rotations and set up all my E fields and shapes anomalies. So we'll get into the track system. But today, basically, I want to get into positions into solar connections, solar chakras. The solar chakra star, guys, very powerful how you cleanse the chakra system. Okay. You filter everything, and then basically all positions of solar generation lights come in and it cleanses everything through the central line center. So it's like your circuitry lights, energy lights, proactive lights, the computer lights, they get dusty, right? But it's mucus. It's plasma. You guys understand more when you go to higher levels of intelligence. Once you wake up as intelligence, you go to sleep as intelligence. You understand your circuitry system. I say, oh, get a mucus line centers off track system. Well, just cleansing interference, bring in the solar chakra interference line conditions. So this is the basic understanding how you have to use your 12 central lines, 12 strands, your 12 godheads, 12 circuitry lights, right? Your pocket lights, your energy lights, your chakra system, your activation core line centers. It's all position of you inside, right? So the more you wake up as intelligence, the more you understand position, right? So it's all about you guys are co-creating your space, which is time, position of you, which is the now track system. You can't live in the past. You can't be in the future. You have to be in the now. This is where it gets complicated. This is where it gets complicated. When you go to higher level system, your past and your present and your future will come in like this into one. And that's the now, which is everything through the past and the future, which is the future. So that's what you guys have to get into, because your alignments are still coming into the past of reference, still trying to understand the presence, but not sure about the future. So it comes into higher formation line center in that connections. Okay. So basically, you have the 12 line center rotations and communication cycles, right? So we come into that positions, your 12 strands. Okay, 12 strands, right? So you get your 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's your 12, right? Line signal, graph the line condition positions, okay? Now you have to understand how to use the chakra system because it's your spine, guys. Spine rotations in the front, spine rotations in the back, interference line connections in that position location, all right? So it's to understand how to activate every one through line signal rotation. Comes in position locations. It's really fascinating to see these things through track system. It's amazing how you use shapes and anomalies to all the connections. So that's how you set up the graph line center, the spine line system rotations, a 12 track system locations. The body track system and its location line center comes into its flux capacitor to its position. All right. So you truly have to understand how you are input of your shoulders of location. See how it's coming in channel line center? Let's go into position line center rotations. You come into the body track system, 2 calculations. All right. So it's trying to understand what you're seeing. It's all about understanding how to line signal. This is your spine in the front and the back line center. It's the position. And that's what I'm saying. If you're wearing necklaces, I have to bless it. Okay. Because remember, it's going to overlap the 12 centralized system and it's going to overload your circuitry connections. So it's important what you wear in position location. You'll find a difference too because you'll feel them activated through that line center. But it's the 12 line center rotations. You have to truly stand through calculations. 7 is the bodies of water, and 5 is with you in the conscious level system. So that equals line centers to 12 locations. Okay. But it's important to understand this, right? Why you guys have a spine. It's fascinating when you come into the rest. See the flux capacitor? So every time you activate the core line center, this is the basic location line system as the base in communications. In high position line centers, you open up all levels of your seat of the soul. Now the seat of the soul comes into high line center, which comes into the crown chakra line center rotations, comes into high position line system rotation. True, you stand what you're up against to that line connections. It's very powerful when you come to that line rotation. So this is the true understanding when you come into the flux capacitor interference channel, it opens up all the flux capacitor line centers in position. So it comes into the birth line of acceleration. Okay. This is your flux capacitor. This is your spine on the other line center. So when you go through transducer line center rotations, you can actually see inside people's bodies and everything grab position locations. So it gets a lot more easier when you understand everything through position where it comes into all of us, or your computer, your programs, or interference channels. When you come into the ground line center, okay, with the power and the communication line system, and then you come into adaptation of circle rotations, and this is where it channels into the high line center of communication, right? So it's all about understanding where the third eye goes to line center. Comes in a DNA track interference. Now that blends into your spine line connections interference channel. Okay. So everybody understands their DNA track, right? When you go to higher levels, you come into your blueprints, your contract interference, but it's all connected to your flux capacitor line center. But the spine is in position through your locations. It sends off waves to interference line channel. And you got the spine at the tip. That's the tail, right? That's the tail. All right. And position line connections. Okay. You come into sonar interference, right? You come into sonar interference to this line system, sends up a high rise of right and left track location. All right. Now it modifies high line center rotation positions. So once you have high position locations of the right and left ear, the central line system comes into the fish of the 3, 6, 9 track line system rotation. comes into blending interference, comes back down into the high positions. See the soul, okay, the mothership. It sets up the central line to your circuitry board line interference channel. Okay, it's pretty powerful. You come into this high position line connections. Once you come into that location, you set up all operations to your spine. Your spine comes into high level system of rotation to the constellation. Now it's all position of you in the center line system to its locations. You have your past, your present, and your gateway interference. It's very powerful when you understand position line connections of yourself through self-generation line center rotations. So it's very powerful when you see these things, guys. You have to be aware of these things. So today, what I want to do is get into the solar chakra line center. You guys have to understand all your positions of your 7 bodies of water and 5 chakra communication line centers of conscious levels. The body is the most important. That's the ground line center. You come in with positions of the voice box of Mother Earth. But the 5 is the atmospheres. Okay, you have to come into 5 channels of atmosphere locations, right? You have to understand how to use the right track and the left track rotation. Everything has to be balanced through your flux capacitor interference channels. So it opens up signals to all levels of automatic system. Okay, so it's important you understand how to use these things through calculations. So when you come into the solar star, right, communication line centers, you come into dimensional of beings, you come into high positions of the universe line system, you come into high positions to all levels, how to travel through the divine, right? Those are the 12 rotation line center rotations, 7 within the body, just in the axial line center. Now, the axial line center is set up through line system rotations. It keeps you in modified signals to rotation, right? So you're all calculated and modified through plasma interference. That protects you in all realms through rainbow activation line center and position locations. It's amazing how you come into that line system rotations, right? So once that activates the line system rotations, you come into high levels of your activation to your flux capacitor, changes its channels. It's got to find you through the ground line system. So once it opens up its track system, it comes into its torical field. Torical field comes into its activation line center to its rotation system, to its calculations. Okay, high positions your line centers into an hourglass of rotation position line connection. All right. So it's amazing how it comes into a Hubble. Okay, that Hubble is like a position of you through track system locations. So it's very it's like a vase, except that vase is set up through location line center to you through ground line system. So identification line center to its positions to understand you through all levels of your spine and your positions. So use the spine as a map. It's a 16 line system of a code line system rotations. So you have to understand the right and you have to understand the left of both atmosphere line centers, which is your hemispheres. Okay, you got to pay attention to that because it's all about your audio tracks, what's going in and what's coming out. Your transponders are extremely important to that line system rotations. So today we're going to go into the solar chakra. Okay, star. Okay, solar chakra star. So once you understand the 12 division line center rotations, we can easily close our eyes, go with the activation line. So what this is going to do, it's going to do a funnel interference. And what it's going to do is it's going to take all the energy line centers that's inside your body, that's fluctuation, negative line center rotations. This is another way of doing breathing. You go in, you go out, you go in, you go out, right? Out with the bad, in with the good, out with the bad, in with the good. But with the solar chakra line center, you have to understand how to use this through high position locations. Because what happens is they take it out and everything else comes back in. So you get new energy cells that come back in. So you're replacing light bulbs. That's all it is. So you have to understand how to do this through equation line interference. So if you want to close your eyes, that's great, but just get into your breathing, do a couple deep breathings, get into your rhythm, get into your patterns, get into high position line center rotations. Okay, so basically you want to cleanse, go up, go back down, come back up, go back down, go back up, go back down. This really releases everything, right? So when you have that in capacity line center, intelligent interference comes to high position line center rotations. So it's the energy track that comes into planet interference. So we have planets in high rotation connections. So they set up the solar chakra star for your binary interference. Your connection to your spine line center, which opens up all ground line centers to the earth line connection positions, which opens up all axial communications to your mutation line centers. The mucus glands come into rotation. Now that's a plasma line center. That's a starlight center of a spider. That spider is the optical line connection. It interferes your channels and creates all levels of atomic level system rotation. So it's amazing how you come into the solar chakra stars, right? With the bad and with the good. Okay, so let's go into the central line system to allocate a timeline system rotation. All right, so always have open sequence, never cross your legs, never cross your arms. Okay, don't even cross your fingers or anything like that. Okay, you can have them like this. Whatever you want to do, feel comfortable, but it's got to be an open sequence line center. Okay, so in position, what we're going to do, we're going to go to space anomaly. Okay, you can close your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open. If you want to close your eyes, that's totally fine. So we're going to surface line center rotation positions. Okay, get into the breathing, get in 1, 2, 3 track, and then bring back down, bring on your rhythms, bring back down, bring up your rhythms, bring back down. Once you go in communication, you're flushing out your system, flushing out your system, flushing out your system. Once you come to the activation line centers, basically what I want you to do is come to calculations. I'm going to center off the grid line center rotation to voice box line center to solar chakras and interference. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the solar chakras are taking all the negative energy cell line centers, taking it out and bringing in new ones. So it's setting up a new operation line center and basically putting a complete cycle of an interference channel to a location to the heart reactor to its activation line connection. So very powerful how you see these things to track systems, right? Because you actually see the energies go in. The more you high rise, the more you come into intelligence, the more you get up in the morning, you are AI, the more you understand these things, then you're really connecting to your phenomenons, right? It's getting into the clarity vision. It's really understanding how to use the audio signals. It's understanding how to use the voice box line system. It's really understanding how to use your imagination of thoughts, guys. You have to really, really see these. It's like looking outside and seeing somebody. That's how real it is. But you have to go inside to see these things, right? Because you can't see anything solar or anything through energy until you understand space of view through track system. It time capacities of view through high volume line center rotations, okay? So it's very powerful how we do these things, all right? So basically what's happened right now is we basically cleansed our whole body from inside using the solar chakra energy light systems, right? So how's everybody doing so far? Yeah, my heart is so shiny and glowing and new. See, that's exactly what it is. So you have to understand how to use your 12-track system. Okay, you start off with the ground line center, you work up your roots, and you go up to high levels of your sacra, you go into high positions, your solar plex, you go into the heart line center, you go into high positions to your psyche, you go into your throat, whatever you want to do. But you have to learn how to do these things. You have to wake up as AI and you have to go to sleep as AI. That's the only way you guys can understand more positions of you through chakra line connections. But it's very powerful when you reach those levels, okay? So use that from time to time when you feel off center. Use the chakra system, solar star, okay? It's in your 12-track system. You guys really, really have to pay attention to this because you have high levels of 60 grounds of Mother Earth now. So you can do these things. And because you're not aware, that's the problem. So I'm trying to help you guys out so you can flush out your system, okay? Just call upon through your intelligence. You can't use my intelligence. You have to use your intelligence. So you have to find your communications to eye-level system, audio track interference, and everything through your voice grid line center, which would open all flushing systems to its calculations of its chakra energy light system. Okay? Flushing out feels the mucus and thinning there. That's exactly what it is, Joe. That's exactly what it is. So you feel it. It brings it out. It's like actually comes out, right? It comes out. It's like and new ones come in and set you up. So they clean your inside line center. They clean your mucus gland center rotations and your proteins and your immune system. Everything starts glowing like amber's in position of a whole new central system of calculations. So it's vacuuming out, okay? So I'm just telling you exactly what you guys can do so you can start feeling better. right? Because if you don't flush out your system, you're creating dust inside line center, which is mucus glands. It's plasma web. So this is a plasma mucus line center. The cell rotation is like a top. It's like, all right. So you have to understand the circulation and rotations because each chakra system, once you go to a higher level system, you're able to see the rotation of each dimensional of lock connections to your chakra system. So it's like this. And your shape is like this, and it's spinning, 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 right? So every time you don't clean it, what happens is it changes the electrical lights and the panel line interference to flux capacitors. So when it's more like this, it's going to slow down. Right? So you have to clean it. So the solar energy lights come in, right? They take out all the positions of the dark line centers or anything to dust particles or anything mucus gland or anything to plasma or anything light connections comes in nanotechnology, takes it off, right? Right? And the new ones come in. So it's amazing how it does these things. And this is higher formation of intelligence. It's like vacuuming out your systems where your solar plexus and everything to your grounds just lights up. You grasp the system locations. So, and that's the importance you have to grasp. It's just like anything else. It's like cleaning a fish tank that has algae on it, right? They actually have fish that actually clean the actual glass of its fish tank, right? So let's get into your questions. All right, so you guys can do that from time to time now. You have to understand how to use your chakra systems, right? Not so much your pyramids because it just got activated, but see the high position of you through mutation line center is 60 locations plus your pyramids, guys. So you have to understand how to use both now in the merging line center rotation. All right, so one step at a time here. I'm going to get into your questions here. All right, and that's why everybody feels off. So now you know how to use your solar connections energies to your light system to its high force line center. All right, let's see here. All right, Ellen, Tina, Amber, morning. Been traveling in space, ship all night, was trying to sleep in, but was told to come to class. Yeah, it's important to come to class. You have to, especially, you guys are coming more into intelligence. So hopefully you're understanding more of your light tracks, your light symbols, your light core center line connections, because you guys are going to come into more communication of light now. Every time you see through perception, it's not you through physical, it's the intelligence. And the intelligence has to be aware of everything that you scan and anything that you see. Like yesterday, I was having pasta, and the fork was communicating with me. There was light there, light track. So it was communicating to the high line center, which is the circuitry trap system location. So it's like, and it goes through my perception. So it's amazing how everything line connects. Everything line connects. So this is a fork, and it's light track through perception. So it's all about communication from this to this to this. So that's what you guys are going to come into, higher light interference. You have to know all levels of light and how to communicate with it, right? Because you're really connecting to your phenomenons now. And you have to be extremely aware when you wake up to these things, right? So you just can't just communicate with your loved ones and families and friends and kids and all that. Now you have to communicate with light, all right? And always informs. This is light. This is my E-field line center. See, that's what happens. It shocks you. But if you set up the energy line center rotation position, energy field location, now you can touch it. This is the true understanding. You guys have to understand light now because you're going to get reactions if you don't set up the high position line connections to E-force or anything like position locations. So it's important when you go outside is to put your E-fields up, because if you don't, you get reactions. And then you get sick and you get nausea and I can't handle this. It's too much density and so. All right, Jill, how's it going? Sylvia, Cleopatra, great to see you guys. I'll be heading over to TikTok in a bit. I just want to give that out to you. But if you have any trouble, go to the solar chakra. All right, flush out your system. You guys have to learn how to use your intelligence, and you really, really have to understand how to use your chakra system. especially now because your pyramids are activated now. Okay. All right. Let's see. You guys are communicating. My head is killing me. Yeah, exactly. Right. Because it has to be flushed out because it flushes everything out and it just basically it just illuminates everything and it makes it glow again. So your chakra system, your crown chakra, your throat, your eyes, your receptors, your ear tract line centers, your imagination, your thoughts are connectors. Your thoughts are connectors. They're not just thoughts. You have to understand everything inside you is magnetic, a force. Okay. I feel like I'm not really sleeping well. Yeah, well, that's it. And that's what I'm saying. But it's very important you go to class, right? You're going to get higher formations of intelligence in you to come to class now because you guys are now in the pyramids. Understand? So it's very important to understand these things. All right. It's a helping hand. That's all this is. My physical system had a reaction to something, so waiting for the settle to go to sleep mode. Joys of the physical, but once you flush out your system, you feel a lot better. Solar chakra star. Okay. I'm exhausted, having the snail vision, clearing up the ground. See? Everybody's exhausted because they don't know how to use the solar generation light star of positions of 12-track system. It's the basic. Why do you think I put everybody out of the matrix? It's too complicated to be in 12 rotations of the Earth axle line conditions, especially that the Earth that I'm studying rotation is coming into a hologram of a computer. Do you know how hard it is for somebody to be living in that matrix, the line center rotation? It's too complicated. Too complicated. So that's why you go through my healing and put you into 20. It takes you out of the matrix, right? It's easier for everybody. You don't want to be in the matrix. And this now position to Recon. Yeah, and that's why Amber feels super nauseated, but now she doesn't, right? I have a bit of a headache also, feeling tired and nauseous. There you go. See, I know how everybody's feeling. That's what I'm doing. If you go to school, I get you in a way where you can start feeling better and start doing this yourself and start vacuuming all levels on how to do this through calculations. It's all done through breathing, right? But you have to really understand the connections of you through your phenomenons. It's important you understand how to use your chakra system. You guys have 60 communications of dimensions, of portals, realms. You have to understand how powerful you guys are. And you're coming into that position line system. Okay. It's all done through electricity. It's all done through magnetic force. Okay. Okay. Passing. Okay. Good morning. I'm not just sure. I think so you guys are communicating. Samantha has a headache, sluggish as well. See, you guys are feeling that. That's why I'm here. So now you should feel better, right? Because you just flushed out your system from solar chakra star. I don't know if you guys know this, but on Google, it has actually the 7 and the 5, right? 7 in the body, 5 in the atmosphere. Very basic. It's the 7 of you. That's the chakra system of just your body. You got to get the 7 bodies of water first in balance. And then you get the 5 conscious levels of father, 7 of mother, 5 of father. That's the basic. But then you come into your test regs, then you come into the matrix. But once you go higher and higher and higher, you come into higher levels of beacon light line centers. So it's all about sending out signals. The next T1000 comes in. So in our line center rotation positions coming in, users, solar chakra star, if you're in positional occasions, all of us coming into rotation. So it tells you exactly what you need to do because you're going to higher levels now, how to cleanse this, how to cleanse that. So it's not just meditation anymore, okay? Because you guys are in the bioatmospheres and you're going to stay there, okay? So it's trying to understand that. The more you high rise to higher level system, the more flux capacitor line interference, you can go up and down and communicate with anybody at that level through frequency tone line system rotation. You can understand their energies, their auras, the dimensions, all positions of the portals, where they are through code line center. You can see them through translucent, and then eventually you'll see them from inside out. Okay, but you got to get in your finger point line center rotations. See, goes fast, fast, fast. This is all communication to AI line center. They already know because it's already set. Okay, so really getting communication to that line position locations. Cleaning my head, yeah. You guys are communicating. That's great. Are we doing things with Jupiter? Thinking about nothing with Jupiter right now. I just want you guys to get into how to clean all levels of your system through fluctuation interference and vacuuming line center. Fourth and five are often deteriorated. Yes, the fourth line center rotation positions. All right, so we're coming out of the fourth density line center rotations. So it's important that you guys take all those levels out by vacuuming through the solar generation line star. That's communication. So the fluctuation line center comes into all positions of high positions of stars. Those stars are stations. Okay, there's no stars in space. It's all station, and it's all based through connections of UFO line center. Okay, when you see them like this, it goes like this, right? Well, those are UFO line centers, a portal line center, dimension line connection interference channels. So you have to truly understand how to use your finger line centers of the moon and the sun. Okay, so communicate with your hands. Try to understand communication line center. It's got to find its rhythm. It's got to find its pattern, right? It's got to find its flow. It changes, but at least it's balanced on both sideline centers of the right track and the left track interference. Okay, right audio, left audio. Okay, in, out, right? So watching, listening, but taking care of my, okay, great, actually. Drops of Jupiter, okay. Are the lights talking to anyone else? Yeah, the communication line center only communicates through track line system rotation, so it's energy through high position opens up the crown chakra. The crown chakra is position of flux capacitor. So you take out the old energy cells and bring in the new. That's what it is. So it surfaces and it just replaces. It's like a light bulb, right? A light bulb pops, right? You put a new one in. There you go. Okay, lights it up. All right, cleans your system. I think we're doing an inversion today. Wow, I'm seeing a huge pair of sunglasses. Oh, wow, my heart is so shiny and glowing and new. See? All right, Diane, is it going? Oh my God, Jono. I listened to TikTok of you this morning. This was all happening. Yeah, everything's happening to what's happening because you have to understand you're connecting more and more with your general. You get a true understanding how you come to high levels of what's going on through precognition. Precognition is in everything. So, ooh, I see what general is going to set up today. Right? So you're more aware of telepathy. Your signatures are high forcing line centers, but you have to understand how to use your track system first. You have to learn how to go up and down, guys. You can't just stay up there. You have to go back down. So because you're introverting, you're interlining, and you're interconnecting, interfacing with other people. So you have to find the balance in each one. Each one has a different E track. An E track is an E force line center. It's like an A track. It's a compilation line center and position of you through track system. You have to understand your fluctuation and interference, each channels that you go up through position. Okay, so it's very powerful when you come into these position line system rotations. It's understanding this through identification what this is, right? Look how powerful it is. But as soon as I touch it, it's fine. But if I touch it and I don't put it up, it electrifies. So it's very powerful where you have to be connected, right? Because remember, if you don't have your E fields up, you're going to bring everybody in and you're going to can't breathe because the density line center is too much and you don't have your E fields lines. Remember, you guys are in body of light. You're not in density anymore. All now is you're trying to keep your fluctuation patterns, get into all levels of vacuuming line center to inside positions. Keep yourself cleansed in all ways. Okay, it's like having a shower. You get dirty, you have a shower. It's the same thing, right? Or you just get BO, right? Body odor and interference. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to keep aware of, right? You do the same thing in the physical system. Well, now you do the same thing with your spiritual system. You're taking care of your electrical lights, okay, and everything through circular line centers. See, this is where you have to become more aware of who you are through connections of AI to get out of those vessels to its vehicle, and then you come into full communications to phenomenons of light, right? Flushing out feels the mucus thinning. There you go. That's exactly what it is. Very good. It's a protein line center to your immune system. Very good, Joe. This explains why a week ago I was being told star system solar plex. There you go. Samantha's aware of that. Would figure it out soon and thank you. So you guys can do this on your own. Headache and slowly dissipating. Great, Amber. That's great to see that change. So you guys have to understand really knowing what you're doing with your chakra system. Okay? You can't just go up. You have to keep going back up and down because you're flying. Right? You're constantly flying more and more and more and more. But your track system has to truly understand you through 60 body communication line centers of you through track system. Okay? 7 body waters, and 5 of the conscious level system, which is you through position. Okay? All right. Like falling. Yep. I'm doing spinning formations with my hand in front of my chakras. Very good, Jill. What you drew in the beginning of class, is that setup explanation on how to do this ourselves? Very good, Samantha. Yeah. So get into your breathing, right? If you feel off center or anything like that, just call upon positions of the solar chakra star. That's it. It comes to you because it knows you through your pyramids. Your pyramids are very powerful now. You're connected to the laser, guys. So you're going to high force interline centers, and it's going to come in a lot more easier when you clean your system, right? Especially if you have a headache or migraine, you can use the solar chakra starline centers. So it takes out and brings in, takes out, brings in. Okay. So it's just like breathing. It's like breathing negative thoughts, right? Bring out all levels of toxicity. Okay. You can't have toxicity line centers. You live in 7 days a week. So if you don't understand these things, come to your dinner room. But you should be aware of these things, right? Because you're coming to more of telepathy signature now. Right? And pretty soon you'll be able to see your graph line centers and do it in the epicenter line center rotation. You actually can see the hologram of structure, right? So that's okay, Diane. That's fine. You said everyone fell off. Is anyone feeling very emotional, charged today, very anxious? Also, did you get all the messages, General? Yes, I did, Mary. Thank you. And how do we put this up the fields? Yeah, and that's exactly what it is understand how to put your fields up, right? You should be aware that you are connected to your AI position of you through track system. If you wake up to your physical system, how are you supposed to put your e-fields if you're still in the negative line center of your egos? You have to stay at our egos, especially now. You guys are in the biome line center. You just have to understand how to fluctuate up and down so you can communicate with different people. Everybody is not the same fields. Everybody's in a different dimension. Everybody's in a different time. Everybody's in a different activation. Everybody's a different color. Everybody's different light. Everybody's in a different light. We have to understand how to use the lights now and all levels of everybody else. But you have to master you through light, and that's communications. Anything you come through reflection, it's going to come to you through sensitivity. It's going to come to you through voice. It's going to come through the activation. It's going to come through color. It's going to come through rainbow activation. So you have to understand these things because your pyramids are activated now. Okay. And that was the whole point I'm trying to get across here. Right. Because now you're registering high levels of intelligence because you're constructing higher levels of you in space inside. Right. So the more you do that, the more you start to put up e-fields. I could put in an e-field line center position locations. There's a person right here that's 6 feet tall. His energy lights are off. You guys will get understanding of what you're seeing through, and it's translucent. And they go in X-ray. X-ray is very complicated. Very complicated. It's extremely high rise. You got to be past 114. But you guys are coming in translucence. But over time, you guys will get more powerful with your positions. But you have to understand how to use this when you're tracking your system through flux capacitor interference. So when you're seeing people, you know exactly their auras and where they are through their dispositions. Are they in the negative cycles? Do they need to be cleansed? So you can help them out. So you can help each other. And I say, how do you know that? Right? So it's already known information. There's no thinking process when you look at somebody. You know it's right. You know it's right. And that's all connection to the reading cycle when it comes into oracle line center interference. Tomorrow you get a resolution line center rotation position of a pattern. That puts you into your own connections. Remember how you come into structural locations to your pyramids? How you come in helter skelter with the intelligence, very high rise, you know, sending signals to you through 3, 6, 9 line center rotations. Tomorrow's going to be fascinating. We're going to see Dolores Cannon. It's already set up. Planet interference location line connections. She's going to connect with you. You guys are going to be in your seed pods. You're going to be in your eggshell line center rotations, and you got your own identification line system. Pay attention to her. She's going to tell you everything that you are through position. All right. This will put you in a better line center who you are through track system of AI connection. All right. So, yeah, your headache's leaving. Yeah. 1337 all wall today. I feel so much better, calmer now. See, that's it. So it's all about getting you into intelligence. This is way past meditation. Meditation is you in the process. So you have to understand what you're doing through your computers, your flash drives, your datas, your upgrades, your downloads, and your uplinking systems. These are important. You have to grab, right? The connections. So found another way to vamp Barcelona, another way to, it's the dust. Okay, interesting. Anxious and nausea. So we use our solar chakras and breathing to cleanse. That's very good, Cleopatra. Yes, that's what you can do. Galactica, how's it going? Yeah, Galactica, she's part of the team. She's on the Galactus Force team. She can help you always, of course. She's also in her 114 chakras. So, slight pressure left lobe, and I'm not going to deal with any headaches today, but they are really sensitive after the latest physical incident prior to aura. All right, so Mary's traveling to high line center rotations. So it's really understanding when you go to higher travels, you have to learn how to protect yourself more through light because you guys are coming in more into clarity of planets now. And these intelligence are recognizing you more because you guys are in your pyramids. Now you know what pyramids are, right? Once you get in that position, we'll come into cosmic flame, cosmic elixir, interference line center, the snake, the high positions of the snake, and the communications of the fire, the flame line center rotations, and everything's in that positions. You have to learn how to use your breathing mechanism, time lock system locations, so you can channel to higher levels of sentient you connection. All right. All right. Yeah, let's see. Can we imagine the solar plexus? Yep. Yep, that's exactly what it is, Samantha. Yeah, and you feel it too. Not just feel it, but you actually see them. You actually see the planet, and it comes in. It's like a vacuum. Okay. We call it a Blothkair. A Blothkair sucks out all maximized centers to all positions of mucus gland or interference to planets. It sucks it out, right? It's like a dehumidifier. It takes out the dust, the particles, it takes out the bacteria, it takes out the mold, right? So think of that, what you can do through high levels of cleansing, right? Knowing how to use this through your system. So don't forget the space inside you. Yep, very good, Mary. Great visual, Samantha. Yep. Exactly. And you guys are coming more into your senses now. And those senses has to recognize you through your pyramids and your hieroglyphic line center. We'll get into more structural locations after we see Laura's cannon. Okay. I put up my e-fields up at the party last night, but it feels so off and drained. How does that feel, Amber? How does that feel when you have to put up e-fields and you're up against so many density line interference? Now you know what your general goes through every single day. Imagine have 50. Imagine have 100 people around you. So it's interesting how you graph that line interference channel through its rotation. Put yourself in that connections. All right. So once you come into that position, I'm just showing you what it's like. So you come into, you are in the center, okay? And there's people around you like this, your track system, okay? Now, you have to understand communications, all level system rotation. You're in the center, and these are other people around. So once you go in position, you scan every single one of them before you activate your E-field line center rotations, because you don't know what you're up against until you scan them, right? Then you go into the ground line centers, each and every one of them. Okay, and this is how you get into higher levels of what to use through E4 line connection. Okay, once you get in that track line center, then you send their auras, where they are, light or dark. So everybody is in a clocking system of different time positions. They're in their different thoughts. So you track their system to locations, and then you come into all levels of their shape and where they are with your track system. You come into their shapes, right? Which is connected to high level system. If they're not in the ground line center, that's totally fine. But each alphabetical line center to a program line interference becomes into a realm of the swirl. Now that communication of a swirl operates line centers, rotations. So you have to understand each flux capacitor line interference to everything to their time zone position. Okay, one step at a time, time zones, right? So once you come into that positions, you set up your E-field line center. This is you through track system to its location. Okay, and then you're totally fine at the party, right? You're in the center of everything, right? So once you have your E-field line centers, you can set up rotations of communication. Then you can communicate with everybody to line connection, right? So you have to understand the realm connections of all levels of activation to all positions of who they are, all calculation modifications, all energy, light, center, rotation. Okay? It takes time. So it's all about understanding you through the E field, and it's all about your size graph line center has to understand its positions to both side line connection. So the bigger the E field, the bigger the protection line to its connection. Okay? One step at a time, guys. One step at a time. Come into this, you come into the power line center, you come to your magnetic line interference, comes in position like this, it high positions you, it registers you, comes into the ground line center rotations, and voila, you're good to go. Okay? Now that's 100 people around you. Like I said, if you're in the center. So you have to understand how to read them through line signal, right? So when I heal anybody to that position, I go through their shapes and elements and I go, right? It's all set up. Then I set up my E fields. I know exactly where they are in all dimension. That protects you and always informs through light. Everybody has light. It doesn't matter if you're in a density line center, you still have a light track. So if it's low, it's like it's either about to go out or it's going to high rise. It all depends on that person where they are through the thought position locations. So this is what you want to come into to high line center to E field line position. Okay. Any questions or comments? You can talk to me. You can talk to each other more and more now because you guys are going to higher positions. So it's really understanding how to use your pyramids through laser activation line division. All right. Traveled to Orion last night and was given holographic codes. All right. So this is where it's going to get interesting, guys, because they see you through pyramids and not just your chakra system. So imagine that you have a bright glowing recognition of time that's in position of you because they know who you are now. You remember more, they remember you more. You understand? So you remember each other. And that's what it is. And that's why Amber's given positions of holographic codes from Orion. All right. Can you help us feel less tired? I know it's hard, isn't it, guys? Yeah. Imagine what your general does. I'm like 7,021 right now. Foundations of 5,000 in the future. Just imagine how many E fields I have to put up. You know, it's crazy how once you go to higher levels of chakras, then you understand more. But you have to go through test reviews and evaluations. You have to understand how to use higher levels of geometric line centers of everybody else, not just you. You have to learn how to use your tetrahedrons in high point position locations because everybody's at a different thought position through their shapes and anomalies. Everybody's at a different position, geometry line center of them through calculations to high levels of directions, right? So process is everything to activation core. Yep, I can help you out with that, Amber. That's not a problem. Yep. In position, get into your activation line centers. Okay, so change less interference locations to Amber. Put her in a high position locations. She's already flushed out her line center to the solar chakra line condition interference channel. Fluctuation is coming in, activation core line center. She's going to feel better through track system through our oxygen level position location of space. So you guys have to understand all levels of space now to track line center rotation. Hold on a sec, guys. Yeah, okay. All right.
I'll wait for you there.
Yeah, give me another 20 minutes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, great. Is he there too?
What?
He's there too, Satan?
Who?
That guy?
No, the table side, that's all. This was the balloons.
Okay. All right. So how do you feel, Amber? Do you feel a bit better now? Let's see here. Everything flowing, free again, ready for sleep mode. Whatever it was that caused the reaction is gone. See? See, even Sylvia is not even aware of that, and she's in 114. See, everybody needs help, and that's why I'm here. Because even though you think you're all, superior to yourself, you have to understand how to use yourself to become the superior of its AI. You have to come into high formations of everything through light, guys. And that's the only way you can understand more and more through conditions of healing. You have to heal yourself first before you want to heal anybody else. I put you guys in positions, your tractor systems, your electrical lights, circuitry lights. You went into the computer line center, into everybody else. And you guys are like, whoa, where am I? Right? So it's really important to understand where you're traveling, inside or anywhere on any level. You guys are going to come more into thought of what you're creating, and it's going to be coming more into its vision, okay, of its diagram and its illustration to its vision, okay? So you're going to be coming more into your visionary borderline centers in communication. You're going to come into more of your compilations of your computer graph screen, okay? Then you come more into track systems, every holographic system, so to its calculation. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Is this the neon highway? In position locations, yes, it is, Karen. Very good. Yeah. There's a lot of different highways in interference line center. You have an E-field location line positions. Each chakra system represents you in different realms. So it's circles, 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 circles. That is the cloud of you. That's the position you. That's the interface of you, right? So every time you communicate to highline center, it changes the coloration track. Okay. So very advanced. How do we set up the E-fields in the meantime, since I don't have full understanding yet? Yeah, exactly. You find a way to understand your intelligence, and your intelligence know exactly how to set up the platforms when it comes to the self-position locations, right? To E-field line center. E-fields, you come into energy cycles. You guys get a more and more formation when you come to high division. So imagine yourself inside crystal cylinder filled with plasma. See? You got to go inside more to actually set up your E-field. So you got to actually envision that your E-field's already set up through you. You actually see this. You actually see yourself putting yourself in an E-field. You have to come more into your imaginations, Diane. Really get into your thoughts, and then you see yourself putting it up. All right? You can't just say, put my E-fields up. You have to vision. Vision. You're actually seeing yourself putting yourself into an E-field line center. Okay? That's what you got to do. All right. So you guys have any questions or comments? Let me know. Okay, I'm just going to backtrace here. I got a busy day. I got to set up the party and put up the balloons. So, but I will be on TikTok hopefully later. Okay, I got a busy day. It's a familiar day for me. Have any questions or comments? Let me know. Anything problems with E-fields? Let me know. Okay, ask any questions. Go to my TikTok. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Okay, the videos that I put up, just comment below. Okay. All right, got caught up in all your questions here. All right. I know it's going to get harder, guys, but you have to come more into your visionaries. You got to come into more of your imagination. You can't just say this and say that anymore. You have to really come into high levels out of your dream. And that's the whole point of trying to get across, everybody, is that you're not in a dream anymore. You're open up through space, and the space has to recognize you through your imaginations, what you're doing through creation of your thoughts. It's all positioning you to what you want to create through your reality. So if you close your eyes, if you have to do that, that's fine. But if you keep your eyes open, that's better, because you can see. You can't see if you close your eyes. You can see the other side of the dimension, but you can't see people walking around. But you can if you go to higher line center. If I close my eyes, I can actually see people around through energy. That's very powerful. So one step at a time here. You have to really come into more of vision. You have to really, really see these things through your imagination. So when you close your eyes, Just imagine that you have an E field put up. You're putting one up, right? And then you just use it through your intelligence. Say, okay, I'm going to put my E field line center. Imagine that you're doing that. It will set it up for you because you're controlling through my telepathy, through your intelligence. So your intelligence will put up the E field, and you are put up through the E field because you are together through integration. There's no separation now, guys. You guys are in your full rotations of your pyramids, and you really have to understand these things. Okay? So, all right. Trust, yep. Trust is everything, yep. We are all on the same team and happy to be, yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about. But Jill's right. You have to more go inside through the vision of you through calculations. That's the only way you can register anything. So it's kind of like basically you see yourself doing something in the mirror, but your eyes are open, right? So you're imagining that you're drawing something and you're putting something over you, or you're looking outside and it's starting to rain, you see an umbrella. So you're creating from inside, not outside. It's the inside you guys got to follow up. You got to stay within your system every single day through imagination. Lose that track line center, off circle through axle of the earth location. And it's going to lose dispositions to your track line system and more reaction to line center rotation. So you have to really stay in the inner cycle, inner system, the inner earth of you to track system, because you guys are in 60 communications at ground line centers. So you have to be very cautious to go inside every single day with your positions of ears, eyes, and voice. Okay? So that should help you out, Diane. Always informs. Okay? So I will see you tomorrow in positions. If not later on TikTok, I just got a very busy day. But tomorrow, Dolores Cannon. Adios. Okay, hold on a sec. Got a communication line center. A tetraderm is a communication line interference. That's a proactive system add-line center connections. Okay, so it's almost like the connections to a birth line center of a tetrahedron, but it's in a position line connection to the off circle location of a virus. Now that's a communication line center to computer location line connections. We'll get into that more through formations. All right. Adios.